forget to do. All right, so my name's Kurt Nazer at Axiom Education, and this webinar is about faculty reporting for Wagner College. So Mike, go ahead and ask questions whenever you want to. So that's your privilege as being the one who's on the webinar. So, sure. Oh, okay. All right. All right. Great. Good. Good. All right. So we're going to talk about faculty reporting. This is the Mentor system. I'm using a demo instance here of Mentor, so when we do other webinars, we'll talk about course management and so forth and some of the other functions. But faculty reporting is the sort of place we start out. What I like to do generally is just I'll show you a CV so you can see how at least most of the data that goes into Mentor sort of gets reported out. We'll talk about some other reports as well. That's me, by the way. But you can see Mentor has some information about where I belong in the institution, when I started, my rank, etc. We have a section for employment history, educational history, honors, and so forth, and then publications. So we sort out publications by the type of publication. And then we have presentations, conference presentations, lecture seminars, media interviews, grants, and so forth. So just a fair amount of data here. Now this report doesn't include teaching information because that's typically not listed on a CV. So I'll come back to this reports tab, which has a number of reports that are available. The three main tabs where faculty interact directly with the system are teaching, scholarship, service, and background. I'll start with background just because that's the sort of, it's a sort of enter at once and then kind of forget about it unless you have stuff to update. So I'll go to background, and so you can see here there's 4 sections. Educational history, where you got your BA, BS, your PhD, etc., whatever degrees you have. Michael, in your case, you may be a CPA, so you would want to list that certification. I don't know if that gets renewed on a regular basis or not, but every 3 years, so you would simply enter those in. So the add certificate, just so you can see what that looks like, is you got a abbreviation CPA, the formal title, what agency issues it, dates, date awarded, date expires, and you can set a sort order, so you can just set a number, so which order they appear in. I see we've got somebody joining us, Ian Wise. So I don't think Ian's quite hooked up by audio yet, but will be soon. Well, I'll hear a ding anyway. Is Ian a he? Yes, okay. Employment history, past jobs, current job, etc. Mentor knows what your sort of current position is in your current rank, so you don't have to enter that. We include here educational experiences. This would be workshops that you attend or conferences that you attend that you're not the presenter. It's just a place to sort of, it's kind of faculty development types of experiences. And we have a miscellaneous items for anything else that doesn't fit into all the other categories that we have here. So the unsolicited student testimonial, if you want to sort of report that and so forth. So all right, so let's go to teaching then, let me go back a year here. We'll get 2 semesters worth of data. So Mentor will have all of your courses in its database. So you won't have to enter your courses or anything like that, the enrollment figures. All of that comes out of whatever your student information system is, Banner or DataTel, Colleague, whatever it happens to be. Ian, I take it that's you that just joined us? Oh, I'm sorry. I had my go to meeting thing closed. So great. So glad you could join us. That's interesting. Are you connected online, Kathy? Oh, okay. Do you have the URL to? You must to connect online. That's okay. You can be on the phone. Just use that link that was in the email, and that will connect your computer, and you'll be able to see my screen. In fact, the phone is much preferable because computer speakers give all sorts of echoes. So just stay on the phone and connect. I've got one other person here, Ian Wise, who appears to be connected but is not connected by phone or speaker, so I'm not sure what's going on with Ian. Anyway, we're about 5 minutes into it, Kathy, so I'll just continue, and we are recording this, so you can always go back and catch the exciting first 5 minutes. Yes, it is. I'm sorry. Hi. And it looks like, Ian, you just got your audio connected. Is that correct? Yes. Yes, I can. Yeah. And actually, your microphone is not causing any feedback, so that's good. All right. So we're about, as I was explaining to Kathy, and Mike, we're about 5 minutes in, and it is being recorded, so you can catch the first 5 minutes. And if you have questions, all of you, feel free to jump in and ask whatever you like. So we're on the teaching tab, so as I was explaining, Mentor will have your list of courses already in it from your student information system. So it'll have your enrollments. So your typical information about a course, the credits. We do calculate a load score, which is simply credits times enrollment. There are cases when sometimes the credits don't actually reflect the work in the course. Sometimes lab courses and such might have 0 or 1 credit. So the chair can actually set an alternate credit value. When they do that, that overrides the actual student credit hours to calculate the load score. And then Mentor, sums those up. So it's simply a metric that's available. Now, you may have other information that you want to report about your work in courses that you do. So on this, and this you'll find this is this little icon here, this maroon page icon. We call that the context menu. And as you get into Mentor and start using it, that will be your friend because it always gives you options of things that you can do. So one thing that you can do for your courses is upload your syllabus. And you can see here a syllabus is already uploaded, so it's a link to download it. The syllabus is actually stored in the course management system, and when we'll talk more about the course management system in another webinar, and ultimately so the faculty reporting system, course management systems share a little bit of data. You can also, if we have learning outcomes and you're asked to report which outcomes your course is addressing, you can select those outcomes right from here. If you're required to submit student evaluations of teaching as part of your sort of annual review process or your rank and tenure review process, whatever that happens to be, you can upload them here. And these are simple file upload forms. So you just find the file and just on your computer and upload it. So and then those file uploads can display here. There's also an additional upload additional items. So if you wanted to upload a couple of student papers, for instance, to a course that you did something different in the course and wanted to give example of student work, you can do that. There's also an annotation field, so you can write notes in on the course. So if you did some curricular development or special what am I thinking? There's a word for it. Experiential learning. What's the word? Oh, I can't think. Yes, yeah, that sort of stuff, where you take your students out and, like for instance, Mike, you're a CPA, you might take some students out and do some tax work on a volunteer basis, part of a course. So, this is a place to sort of report some of those activities or anything else that's relevant to your review process. If you had 3 sections of the same course, you might instead want to use the annotation and the upload items on the term as opposed to the individual courses. So a fair amount of flexibility with what you put into the system and make available. Mentor has a course release page, so it tracks course releases. You can enter any course releases that you have and give a description of what they're about. You can have a little description field. So, and again, this data is all available to the chair and the dean. Advisees, if we actually have student advisees, student data in the system, and it's tracked centrally at Wagner, we can actually list advisees that you're assigned here. Absent that, you can annotate this and give some description about your work with advising students. There's also a file upload, so you could write something up in Word and upload it as well. These three items are all the same. They both have this edit, upload documents buttons, and these are actually customizable by the institution. So Don has seen this. I'm not sure what his intentions are for these. It's a sort of setup thing. They don't have to be used, but they can be labeled sort of anything that you want. And they're simply places to do some additional reporting, work related to teaching that may not be, captured in the course data per se. So that's the teaching tab. We will get to how this data is reported when we get over to the reports tab and go over to the chair page so you can see what the chair actually sees. So let's go to scholarship. And first of all, we break scholarship down into publications, presentations, creative expressions for the artists among you, grants, honors, research in progress, and so forth. So within publications, we break it down into the different types of publications. Mentor is a bibliographic database. So as you know, each type of publication has a different structure, has different data elements, and so that's why it's broken down this way. So this is listing articles. I'll go in and just edit this article. So click on edit. This is the same form as the input form. It's just got data in it. So adding a citation is simply putting in the title, the journal name, journal URL if you have a basic bibliographic information. If you have a DOI, an ISSN, data publication, pages, etc. Keywords. Keywords and the title of the article are indexed by the server and searchable. So I'll show you an example of that. But it does make a fairly rich database. It's nice to be able to find what other colleagues are doing if you have a particular interest in something. You can search the database. And then there's some metadata. There will be some additional metadata that we'll set up for you folks related to School of Business accreditation. But the basic metadata here is, of course, is it peer-reviewed, editor-reviewed, etc. The publication status, of course, publications go through a process, so you can sort of track that process as it goes along. Publication scope, the acceptance rate in ranges. It could also be in specific percentages if that was desirable. And number of student co-authors if you have student co-authors. Annual reporting date. This is, there's two dates here. You can see there's an annual reporting date and a date of publication. The annual reporting date isn't required. What it does is the following. Let's say I have an article that's been accepted and it's going to be published in the spring of 2016, say. And it's 2014 spring, and I want to report that on my annual report that I had this article accepted for publication. If I put an annual report date of spring 2014, April 1st, 2014, then my annual report will pick that publication up, even though it's got a publication date that's 2 years out. So it's a way to manage that problem that things get published in the future, but you want to have that reflected as the work that you did in the current year. So that's the purpose of that. For past publications, it makes no difference, but for current ones, it does. And finally, there's a notes field, so you can type in some notes about how this publication came about, what your role in the authorship was, for instance, or anything else that's pertinent to reporting. The only data that might ever be, and I'll talk later about making this data public, that is wide open public, the only data that would ever be wide open public would be, the standard citation data, not the metadata, not the notes, etc., not the keywords and so forth. So, and I'll talk more about it. It's your option to make that stuff public, and some of that depends upon the institution itself and whether they want to provide access to the mentor data through your website for public searching, for instance, or displaying publications that you have. One thing I do want to point out, and I need to do this on the Create New form, Mentor has a database of about 12,000 journals. So if I start typing in the first letters of the journal title, I can select the title from the list. That guarantees that all articles that are put in, regardless who puts them in, have exactly the same title. So that, if we wanted to count up, for instance, the number of articles published in a given journal, we wouldn't have any discrepancies. If there isn't if the journal you're looking for isn't in the database, you can enter it manually.